Hi everybody. We're going to talk a little bit about composition. We're going to talk about how we choose the images and what are the images specifically for and why we do this. This is all prepping for beginning drawing, for beginning painting. You can't choose anything. Let me move this back here a little bit. Unless you have a good image that you like. Now for some reason I was kind of drawn into the cello a little bit. I'm going to be getting a violin in here. We'll be photographed. It'll be our model. Okay, I'll show you how that works. But without this, we kind of like, how do you choose your pictures? How do you choose what you paint? How do you choose anything? And when you do choose it, how do you apply it? How do you put it on canvas? I mean, how all these things? Yeah? Okay. So what you see here is a series of photographs of a violin. I'm sorry, of a cello. Now you see here like this. This is the same image, but laid out differently on different things. Here it is here with all of this here, really nice and fat. It's cut off the side here, it's cut off the side here, it's placed differently. And then we have the frog up here. And the tuning of forks, or the tuning knobs. So this one here could be a toss-up between a violin, viola, or cello. So that right there kind of gives me an idea what I want, but it doesn't really say the subject. So whenever I'm choosing things, I take a lot of photographs of them. I mean, a ton of photographs. And I kind of go through there and kind of pick and choose which ones kind of grab my eye. Now, as I'm doing this, I wind up finding a pretty good image that I want. Now, if I was going to paint this, would I paint this small? I would do a study this small, either drawing or paint or something like that, but the finished piece would probably be like 60 by 60 or 40 by 40 or something like that. Or, something where I can take this thing and elongate it this way to give it almost a nice little portrait feel. So these things right here are all components on how we choose the image, what we want to paint. And everybody sees things differently. So I'm going to put this violin up here, and everybody's going to see it from a different perspective, and that's the perspective I want them to paint or draw. And what's going to wind up happening is you're going to see some different dynamics of this imagery coming out. Those are things are how we do this in the real world. I don't know how they do it in college, because if they did it better in college, the college students would be coming out making a living. They can't, so they don't, and that leaves room for me to teach you guys on how to do this. So for the most part, whenever and we'll go through this in class, whenever you're choosing subjects, you're choosing a position, you're choosing a composition, you're choosing these things, you just don't take one picture this way. You walk all the way around it taking pictures, down below, above, over this. How much do you know about your subject? What is the subject? If it's an animal, what type of animal? Where does it come from? What's the lifespan? What's its makeup? Is it a rhino? What is it underneath? What is underneath the hide? What's the deal with the rhino's horn? What type of animal is it? Does it get live birth? Does it lay eggs? Rhinos, of course, give live birth, so that makes them what? Okay, so you learn as much as you possibly can about your subjects. Now, sometimes we fall in love with a subject that we don't know. I.e., do I know how to play a violin or a cello? No. But I think they're cool, and guess what? I will still learn as much as I possibly can. I'll listen to the music. I will listen to instruction and stuff, so I understand that instrument. Now, another thing that happens when you do that is it shows in the work. The more knowledge you have about a subject, it will always show better in the finished piece. If you've looked at anything, you probably haven't, being young. But the older you get, you can tell when people have spent more time doing things simply by, what they're seeing, what the end result is, especially in painting and sculpting. You can always tell a painter who knows his subjects or a sculptor knows his subjects by how well it's done. You can tell how much they don't know by how disconnected, flat, rendered badly, painted badly, just bad. That's the only thing you can say. And you start recognizing these things. But it starts here. Which image? I don't know. Which one do I want to paint? I don't know yet. I don't know that until I've done some work. So I'm going to do, I'll probably choose, I really like this one. So I'm going to probably do that as a, no, hold it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do this one since it's wider. I'm going to do it this big, so I'll transfer it down, and just so give me an idea. So when we do get a cello in here and a violin, we will be exploring those. And I'm ordering my violin today, so we'll have it. And just so you know, my great-great-grandfather, my great-great-uncle, who's passed away, his name was Frank Henderson. He was a self-taught violin maker, and he made violin bows. Okay, so yeah, there's a history there. And my mother has one of these violins. Someday that violin will be in my house because that is something that I find fascinating. So anyway, guys, hopefully this gives you an idea. Hopefully this has been inspirational and informational, or informational, inspirational, however you want to take it. And think about, we'll be going through that. We'll be going through the photography process. We'll be going through the printing process. We'll be going through all these things next year. This year, though, I just want to give you a taste on how this thing works, why it works, what is the possibilities of it, what we want, everything. Now, as you also know that, So anyway, this is Mr. Bowers, and hopefully looking forward to seeing your happy little faces in the class. Can't do it without you here. You got to be in the class. Okay, Mr. Bowers out.